Hi everyone, I hope you're fine. Today we will going to discuss about Hardy-Weinberg theorem, that what actually Hardy-Weinberg theorem is. And I hope after watching this video, everything will get crystal clear to your mind. So before starting our topic, I want you to think for some time about the chemistry that in chemistry we heard about the ideal gas laws, Boyle's law, Chow's law, all right? So all these laws basically works on the ideal conditions that they assume, the scientists assume, and these based on their assumptions. But in practical form, in actual form, there is nothing ideal in the world. And same is the case here. Hardy-Weinberg theorem is something that is based on the assumptions and that is based on the ideal scenarios. But again, nothing is ideal in the world, and for practical thing we need to look forward for something else, and evolution is something that is practical. Same is the case like in ideal gas laws. After learning the ideal gas laws, we learn the general gas laws that works on the practical forms, including errors and including flaws and everything. Cool. Same is the case here. Hardy-Weinberg theorem explains and works in the ideal situation, but evolution works in the practical form. Okay, and evolutionists use this theorem to use this theorem to explain that evolution is something practical, something logical, and something rational. See, we will start the topic with his Hardy-Weinberg theorem. The Hardy-Weinberg theorem characterizes the distributions of the genotype frequencies in populations that are not evolving and are thus the fundamental null model for the population genetics. Now keep focus on the word genotype frequencies. Genotype, genotype means the complete chromosomal, genetical, allelic pattern or thing that is present inside the individual. So very easy, the complete DNA sequence and alleles, genes present inside the individual. You all know what is chromosome. Before starting the lecture, I want you to make sure what is all these terms. Wait, see, I want you to think. I want you to see. Okay, this is our chromosome. Okay, something like this. All right. I'm bad in drawing game. This is our chromosome. We call this as chromosome. And chromosomes in the diploid organisms are present in the form of pairs. All right. So this makes sense that chromosomes are present in the form of pairs, and on the chromosomes genes are present. Genes, I will draw it like this. Okay, genes are present. See, and genes, you see, the genes are also present in the form of pairs. Each chromosome contain one gene, and two chromosomes contain two genes. Two genes means two alleles. These are the alleles. Okay, when I represent this gene as with some name for my ease, like I should say this is A, capital A, and this is also capital A, or it should be anything. Okay, capital A. Okay, capital A, or it should be small a. I don't want you to confuse it right now for that. So for simple, this is the other other half of this gene, all right, in diploid organisms. Okay, genes are present or alleles are present in the form of pairs. This is chromosome, this is allele, and alleles, where the alleles are located, the position of the alleles is called loci or loci. I don't know what is how to pronounce it. Loci. Okay, so we will start our topic now. Everything is the basic things is clear to you all now. The Hardy-Weinberg theorem characterizes the distribution of genotype frequencies. That how which frequency? Let's suppose if I say the genes or the alleles that contain that controls the height of individuals. We are talking about the human population. There are trillions of people present in the world. Human population. For the genes that control height, I will say the frequency. In which frequency the short allele is present, and in which frequency the tall gene is present inside the population. So this is called genotypic frequencies in populations that are not evolving. See, not no evolution. When there is no evolution, Hardy-Weinberg theorem works and are thus the fundamental null model for population genetics. Cool. Now, move to the equilibrium. What is this? The Hardy-Weinberg theorem deals with the Mendelian genetics in the context of populations of diploid. Like I said before, sexually reproducing individuals in sexually reproducing individuals. Given a set of assumptions, this theorem states that these are the points of the theorems, and these are very important. Number one, allele frequencies in a population will not change from generation to generation. All right, they state that the frequency of allele, suppose we consider the genes for height, tall and short. There are two possibilities for height. A person should be tall or a person should be short. Okay, so the allele frequencies in population, the frequency of tall allele and the frequency of short allele in a population will not change from generation to generation. Like if I said that 50% of tall people are present in the population and 50% short people are present in the population, and the same 50% ratio will keep on repeating from generation after generation, there will be no change. See, this is what ideal condition, but in practical there is no such ideal situation. There is a lot of variation in the allele frequencies. Like I should say that in generation 1 for myself, like I should say this is generation 1, many people are tall and low amount of people are short. But in the next generation, we see in the next particular generation we see that short people, the number of short people increases. So this is not something very practical. The second point is, if the allele frequencies in a population with two alleles at a locus, see I already explained these terms. If the allele frequencies in a population with two alleles at a locus are p and q, then the expected genotypic frequencies are p squared, 2pq and q squared. This frequency distribution will not change from generation to generation once a population is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. You know that equilibrium in itself explains that there will be no change. Everything is in equilibrium. All right, but we see change in the practical form. So they are representing the mathematical formula that if the two alleles, like I said that height, for height I should say like this is. This is for tall people. This allele controls the tall people. This is tall, T, capital T, and this is small t, the short people. Okay, the short people, small t. With it must be there must be four types of combination that it three types of combination like this. An individual can be this capital T, uh, capital T, small t, and small t. Sorry, small t, small t. See, so this is heterozygous condition, this is homozygous condition, this is homozygous condition. Okay, you all must be familiar with these terms, what is homozygous and what is heterozygous. Okay, so they're giving the mathematical representation of the thing that then the expected genotypic frequencies are p square, 2pq and q square. All right, this is for homozygous dominant, capital T, this 2pq for heterozygous, and this is q square, this is for homozygous recessive. This frequency distribution will not change from generation to generation once a population is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. For example, if the frequency of a allele A in the population is P and the frequency of allele A in the population is Q, this is capital A, this is small a, then the frequency of genotype AA, that is homozygous dominant combination, is p square. The frequency of genotype capital A small a is equals to 2pq, and the frequency of genotype small a, that is homozygous recessive combination, is q square. If there are only two alleles at a locus, then p plus q by mathematical necessity equals to 1. The Hardy-Weinberg genotype frequencies p square plus 2pq plus q square represent the binomial expansion of p plus q square. You already heard about this formula a plus b square in the mathematics. So they are telling that this is simply the binomial expansion of a plus b square formula. And also sum to 1. as must the frequencies of all genotypes in any population, whether it is in Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. It is possible to apply the Hardy-Weinberg theorem to loci with more than two alleles, in which case the expected genotype frequencies are given by the multinomial expansion. See, if you look for the skin color for a human being, skin color has multiple genes that is not controlled by the two genes. Like for instance, I explained the genes for height. A person should be tall or should be short. Again, in height, in human population, there is multiple alleles that are controlling the height and the skin color. But for your ease, I represent this with two alleles. Similar, the the genes that controlling the skin color has a lot of variation, and the multiple alleles are controlling, not two. These are more than two alleles that are controlling these kind of traits. So for that, for multiple alleles, the theorem is has this mathematical form: p1 plus p2 plus p3 and so on plus pq square. Okay. The conclusion. What is the conclusion? The conclusion of Hardy-Weinberg theorem apply only when the population conforms to the following assumptions. Now, this is something very important that you must focus and you remember these assumptions and these things. Number one, natural selection is not acting on the locus in the question. You see, again, natural selection must, natural selection is something must. You cannot avoid this situation. But they are again dealing with the ideal condition that there will be no natural selection occurring in the population, and and there are no consistent difference in the probabilities of the survival or the reproduction among the genotypes. You see, natural selection, if natural selection is occurring, one population may die because they are not strong enough to handle the environmental situations or inside the competition and so many factors that natural selection basically holds on. Or a population might increase in the number because of they are very best fitted for the natural selection. Again, the frequency of the alleles also disturbs because of the change in the population number. The second point is neither mutation nor migration is introducing new alleles to the population. Both mutation and migration introduces new alleles in the population. Like say that if we are dealing with the cats population, this is a type of cat, the white cats. Okay, we are dealing with the white cat population. A black cat from another continent enters into the population of the white cats. It disturbs the whole population scenario. So, and the mutation can also be happen. Mutation also changes the population scenarios. Like if any muted genes mutation occur inside the body, but you cannot control, again you cannot control the mutation. How can you control the person or the individual's inside mechanisms? How can you control the chemical mechanisms inside the person? And again, how can you control the migration of the individual at the higher level? How can you control? This is not something, this is not possible. Again, the third point is population size is infinite. Again, the sizes of the population is finite. Like if I mention the population of human, you can count the human people or the human populations present on the earth crust. Okay, same is the case with the cats or the dogs or the lions population. You can count them. These are not something infinite. The fourth point is individuals in the population mate randomly. Random mating. There should be no that no specification. The individuals made randomly with respect to the locus in question. Although non-random mating does not change allele frequencies from one generation to the next, if the other assumptions hold. This assumption is not too much, this is not too much necessary. If the three scenarios, the one, two, three, these three previous scenarios are fulfilling in this condition, these three ideal conditions are occurring, then if there is a change in the fourth condition that the individuals don't made randomly, so there will be no much effect in the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. But the upper three scenarios are the must. So given this condition, it is easy to derive the expected Hardy-Weinberg genotypic frequencies with the Mendel law. The Binet scale for the Mendel law for two alleles, capital A and small a, capital A and small a, we will see that if each allele occurs at the same frequencies in sperms and egg, because we are the diploid, we are talking about the diploid members. We form from the sperm and the egg. All right, cool. So in diploid cases, we have the genes from the sperm, one chromosome from the sperm and one chromosome from the egg, and the genes are present in the form of pairs, like I said before. If Each allele occurs at the same frequencies in the sperms and the egg, and the gametes unite at the random to produce zygotes. Then the probability that any two alleles will combine to form a particular genotype equals to the product of the allele frequencies. That is what the Hardy-Weinberg theorem. Since there are two ways of generating heterozygous genotype, egg and capital A egg and small a sperm, or an egg, there should be, I think, small a egg and capital A sperm. We sum the probabilities of those two types of union to arrive at the expected Hardy-Weinberg frequencies of the heterozygous genotype. You see, this is the Punnett scale. Like this is capital A, small a, capital A, capital A. This is capital A, small a. Okay, we are dealing with the heterozygous parents. These both are heterozygous. Heterozygous dominant. So what happens? Capital A, small a, capital A, capital A, capital A, small a, capital A, small a, and capital A, small a. So this is what P. This is Q. This is P square. This is PQ. Again, this is PQ, and this is Q square. Okay. This is what the Hardy-Weinberg theorem actually is. Let me show you again. See, P square, homozygous, homozygous dominant. Heterozygous PQ, heterozygous PQ. This is also heterozygous PQ. PQ PQ means 2PQ, P square, 2PQ, and this is Q square, capital A, small a. And I think there is mistake in this also. It should be small a, small a. Yes, it should be small a, small a. All right, let me correct it. I got it from the Google. I got this article from the Google. I don't see. This is like this: small a, Q square. Cool. Done. You should correct it. All right. So this is our topic. I hope you like the video and everything is clear to you now about Hardy-Weinberg theorem. What is it and everything. Thank you so much.